Speaking of things that were last relevant in 2006, Sega is aiming to create a super game.
That's a spicy statement.
That was a burn of burns.
Come at me, I'll fight you. Sega is
Burns
aiming to create a super game by March 2026. And to be quite honest, when I first saw this title, I just thought they meant, we just want to make a game that's super that people might actually like. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Something your nan would say, oh, that's a super game that you're playing there.
A revolutionary game with the streaming community in mind.
How many times do I have to say that every single time in the history of existence, pretty much, somebody has gone out to make a game as service, gone out to make a Destiny, gone out to make a streamer game? They've failed, especially fucking Sega. No one has faith in Sega doing this.
Honestly, you're just reading it like, you know what you're saying, right? Like, you must have some level of self-awareness about this.
Among Us was out for like 2 years before it hit randomly as the biggest game in the world. Like, this is pure blind luck, usually steeped in having a good idea. Very, very rarely. Like, Fortnite is like the rare exception that, like, let's just do the popular thing. Oh god, we're the biggest game in the world now. Whoops. But for the most part, everybody else that sets out to, like, let's turn our Avengers game into Destiny, or EA, let's do it with Anthem, like, they fail miserably every time. So how about Sega, instead of being like, let's make a super game, how about you just go come up with a game idea and make it, and maybe people will like it.
Like a new idea with something interesting. Do something fun. Like Fall Guys. That was a surprise hit because they just made a fun thing and then streamers played it and everyone got on board with it because it was a nice original idea. Why have we got to it's what we were saying at the start of the goddamn podcast about Black Adam, right? Like, please don't build a piece of art around the idea of exactly who's going to play it for profit in a very specific scenario. Just make a thing. Do an idea, and maybe people will like it. There's probably so many talented, really creative people that work in Sega right now. I guarantee one or two of them have got an idea for like a game that would absolute smash hit on Twitch, rather than them just going and making a really just generic game that they want everyone to stream because it's the latest thing. So here's some money to like Ninja to go play this for a while, and no one watches that stream and it just disappears forever. Stupid Sega.
Stupid Sega.
Yeah,
indeed.
and like Sega CEO Haruki Satomi, he kind of spoke about the strategy behind this super game, and like the core idea is with the idea to attract streamers, which again like goes back to, okay, what is it that made Fortnite the thing that it was? Well, hey, it was Ninja, and then Ninja playing with Drake.
Yeah, stop twerking for streamers, goddamn.
And then with Among Us as well, again, it was streamers, that's what made the thing, and as you mentioned there, it took 2 years for that to get where it was. And like, even, you know, you could argue to some degree that the strategy with Fall Guys to get the notoriety out there was the fact that they used their community strategy before the game came out to just throw a bunch of keys at the hands of fairly well-known streamers, and then just hope the fact that the game has a very very kind of colourful, vibrant, goofy shtick to it would land with people. But, you know, like, it wasn't that the strategy of just giving these free keys to streamers and hoping for the best that would work out. They obviously knew the game had a specific presentation that was going to appeal to both streamers and then the people watching it to go, fuck, I want to play that, because it's, you know, it's not like a particularly complex game. It's like fucking Takashi Castle with giant beans. So that was all kind of working in conjunction. But obviously, I still don't even think that Mediatonic that made Fall Guys, and, you know, if we got Jeff back on, I'm sure he would also say never in their wildest dreams did they think that Fall Guys would get to the level that it got to. You know, I'm sure they were hoping it would be successful.
Nor do I think that they set out at the start to make a game like that. They're like, let's make Takeshi's Castle but a video game. That was probably it. Yeah. It's like, that's a cool, fun idea, and we think people would like it. And then they're like, well, how do we market this? There's streamers and influencers and people getting people to play it so that they could see it's fun and want to play it with the streamer they like.
Yeah, the game came first, though.
Yeah,
is the key point.
When you start your game on let's make a super game to attract streamers, you're approaching it from the wrong fucking angle.
We're 4 years away from it potentially being released.
You're going, I want this to be popular on Twitch, and then working backwards. That's not how it should work. idea for a game first, then think about what you're going to do with it once you've made it.
There always has to be at least one game like this that's kind of like, I mean, I guess Star Citizen is still that game at the moment, but there always has to be like one game in the background that you hear about every 3 or 4 months that, hey, oh yeah, that's a thing that's still fucking going at some point, God knows when. So it's just, this fits on that conveyor belt of those sorts of games, and I like the fact we have those sorts of things that are just...
Or like Garrett says, it's Anthem and it just disappears up its own arse for eternity.
I'd like to read the quote. The ultimate goal in the quote-unquote super game strategy is to create a game so revolutionary that it attracts far more active users than any of the group's games to date. What the fuck have you been doing with your other games then? Have you been like fucking shitty like churn out Sonic? Who gives a fuck? The Sonic fans will pretend it's good anyway, so why even try? Has that been their actual strategy?
I mean, have you played any of the 3D? Like, again, I always come back to you cannot make a good 3D Sonic game. It's just not.
We'll have another
possible.
in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking hell, Frontiers is this year, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
People are already pretending it's good.
A lot of stuff coming out in November.